Today's video is about luxury items that I'd like to buy, but won't. I thought this was a tag video and I tried doing some research for similar videos, but didn't find anything. I love all the items we're going to talk about today. I think they're beautiful, but I don't need them. Why? Because they're for what I call my fantasy self. So let's talk about it. Hey friends, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel, Luxury and Life in the Middle. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, I would love it if you would take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. I like to do videos on luxury items, all types, handbags, shoes, ready to wear, and fashion as well. But I do it from a perspective of someone who's in the middle of her life, as well as someone who lives in the middle of the United States. So again, if that's something that interests you, please take a second and subscribe below. So before we get to the 10 items that I'm not going to be buying, even though I love them, we'll do a quick what's in my bag and what bag I'm carrying today. Today I am carrying the Marc Jacobs The Tote Bag. This is in the mini size in the kind of lilac color that they came out with this past summer. And yeah, it's such a functional bag. So, you know, again, sorry guys, I have yet to change out into my other things now that they're out of storage. So still carrying the Chanel 22A cream card holder. Again, carrying these Chanel Sunnies, which are, sorry, I'm giving you the ring light there. They're the ones that have this like gold trim or design on the sides, on the temples. Really like those. A good classic pair. And monogram 6-ring key holder, Bastia with coins, and that is it. Oh, I lied. I forgot. It was kind of tucked back there. The pouch that comes with my Chanel 22 bag. Honestly, I don't have much in here except for, I think, some receipts that were from my last business trip. So that is my bag, and my fragrance of the day is DELINA EXCLUSIF. So it's kind of the amped up version of DELINA. I love the DELINA fragrances. They're by PARFUMS de Marly, and I will pop the notes up here, but I have regular DELINA, I have the DELINA EXCLUSIF, and then I have the one that's like a rose. I can't remember the name of it, but it's sort of DELINA with a rose scent, and I wear that during the summer months. So that's my fragrance of the day. So what do I mean by my fantasy self? My fantasy self is the person who attends all of the fashion weeks around the world. It's the person who gets invited to gallery openings and influencer events. It's the person who jets around the world every couple of weeks to exotic locations, always first class. It's the person who lives in a city where they take public transportation or Ubers, or better yet, hired cars. I'm a mom and a wife, and I work from home. And while I love to look put together most of the time, that still doesn't warrant buying these items. So let's take a look at the 10 luxury items I really, really want, but won't buy. Number 1, AMINA MUADDI pumps. I love these shoes. And maybe pre-pandemic, 3 years ago, I would have bought a pair of these shoes. But I work from home and nobody sees my feet. The most anyone sees of me is pretty much what you see here, from, you know, the boobs up on a Teams call. The next item on my list is actually what gave me the idea for this video. And it's an Hermes, I guess it's a shawl. It's a cashmere wrap. So recently when I was in Denver doing my, monthly Hermes visit to, try to buy some things that I love, but, let's not beat around the bush. They're for pre-spend. my sales associate brought out this absolutely gorgeous black cashmere wrap. And it was gorgeous. And I remember I, was standing in the full length mirror and I had it wrapped around myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so soft. I love this. It's amazing. And then I said to her, as much as I love this, this is for my fantasy self, not my real life self. As I stood in the mirror, I envisioned myself, wrapped in this beautiful swath of soft fabric, sitting in my first class seat, jetting off to Europe or the Maldives or Dubai. But I'm not flying to any of those places anytime soon. So that piece stayed at the boutique. So the next item would be a Zimmerman PLAYSUIT. You know the ones I'm talking about. They're beautiful, right? They're light and airy and floral and just beautiful. But there's a couple reasons why this item doesn't work for me. It only works for my fantasy self. I don't live in a tropical or subtropical climate. I live in the Midwest, where at least 6 to 7 months out of the year, you're not wearing a PLAYSUIT, okay? It's too cold. We have snow, we have sleet, we have ice, we have fall. So I'm not going to be wearing a PLAYSUIT. In addition to that, I live in the Midwest. Nobody's wearing a Zimmerman PLAYSUIT in the Midwest. Maybe Chicago, probably not even Chicago, because again, climate doesn't really lend itself to that. So Zimmerman PLAYSUITs, off the list. Next on the list, Chanel earmuffs. Now, originally, I have to say, I thought these were a little over the top. And I still probably think they're a little over the top, but I really think they're adorable. Now, again, this would be great for my fantasy self who lives in that big city and walks places and, like I said, takes public transportation or Ubers and, is going to be out in the cold elements and needs to keep their ears warm. But I live in a city where we drive everywhere, and the most I'm walking pretty much is from my car into Walmart. So Chanel earmuffs, again, not going to be buying. Next are designer watches. I love a Rolex. I would love a Rolex, but let's face it, one journey is enough. I have no desire to take on another designer that requires pre-spend in order to be offered an item. But even a Cartier or Hermes watch, which I think are beautiful, unfortunately would still be a waste. I wear my Apple Watch every day. I have a beautiful Michelle watch with diamonds that I haven't worn in years because of my Apple Watch. I don't know if anybody else feels that way who owns an Apple Watch, but I get kind of not addicted, but like I feed off of that whole like closing your ring thing. So like some days if I don't put it on right away in the morning, I like start to panic that I'm not gonna like have my, standing ring closed or whatever because I forgot to put it on until 1 p.m. or something. So the thought of then wearing a non-Apple Watch and not having that and like missing that day kind of gives me anxiety. So for that reason, designer watches, not happening. Next is the Louis Vuitton Horizon suitcase. Right there. I love this piece. And every time I go to a Louis Vuitton boutique, I look at it. I look at it. I like take it out and unzip it and look at the inside. And I want this piece. And it's not even honestly the price of it because honestly, it's not really any different than buying a Pochette Matisse as far as prices. Okay, it's a little bit different, but still, in the overall world of Louis Vuitton, it's pretty well priced. But again, this would be for my fantasy self who jets all over the world in her private plane or first class. That's not me. When I fly, it's generally Southwest, and it would get destroyed. Next are the Chanel rain boots, which kind of go along with the earmuffs. These are definitely for my fantasy self who maybe lives in London and would wear these, you know, stylish, very usable boots because it rains a lot there and people walk places. But again, I don't walk anywhere. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I walk places. I go for walks, you know, for exercise, whatever. But when I do that, I'm doing that at a time where the weather is nice outside and I wouldn't wear rain boots for that. I wear tennis shoes. I even purchased a pair of hunter boots in this last Nordstrom anniversary sale in July, and I had them home for like a week, maybe not even a week, and they were only $100, but I returned them because again, I knew I wouldn't use them. Next is the Fendi First bag. Now I'm gonna admit, you guys, this one is hard for me because I love this bag. I love watching Dale's unboxings of her Fendi Firsts. I love, and I don't want to say covet, but truly admire all of Meredith's Fendi First bags. They're gorgeous and I would love one. I first tried one on at the Crystal Shopping Center in Las Vegas at the Fendi boutique there and fell in love with it. I like both the small and the medium for kind of different reasons. You know, I picture myself walking into some fabulous, you know, 4 Michelin star restaurant with it, you know, tucked under my arm as I, you know, glide elegantly into this restaurant. And then I see myself standing under the awning for my car that's pulling up with the clutch just, you know, held in my hand. But I'm not doing that. My real life takes kids to school and baseball practices and Walmart. Not really the right venue for a bag tucked under the arm like that. So again, not going to buy. The next piece, the Hermes Kelly belt. Infamous, right? It's got the little turn lock just like on the Kelly bag and the Birkin. My fantasy self would be wearing this belt, you know, cinched around the waist with my Dior bar jacket, which, to be honest with you, would also be on this fantasy list if I had wanted to do 11 items. Or around that Zimmerman playsuit or mini dress that I am also not going to be buying. But since I work from home, like I said, I don't have a place to wear the Dior bar jacket or the Zimmerman playsuit, and so the Kelly belt honestly would just hang in my closet, so I won't be buying that. So the last item is a Chanel 19 tweed bag, very specifically a tweed bag. And this maybe isn't necessarily because of my fantasy self, but more how I dress and the way I live my life. I think, unfortunately, it's just impractical. I mean, I love the 19 bag. I have 2 of them and I adore them. I am not a classic flap kind of girl. I have learned that, video to come, but I love the 19 bag. I love the casualness of it. I love the top handle of it. I love everything about it. But that's exactly why I wouldn't buy it in tweed, because when I wear my Chanel 19 bags, I wear them crossbody, which means it's going to rub and have a lot of friction against my body, which for tweed would be a disaster. And while I love the look of tweed, I think it's best suited for a top handle bag or at the most a shoulder bag. So that's it, guys. Those are the 10 items that I would love to buy but will not be buying because they're for my fantasy self. Actually, I guess it was technically 11 because we kind of slipped the Dior bar jacket in there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you kind of enjoyed hearing the things that I would love to buy, but just aren't going to because I don't live that fantasy life as much as I would like to. If you haven't subscribed, again, please take a moment and hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are having a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.